Hello guys, S2W here as your average consumer with your casual consumer's review. For today's video, I was able to pick up the second colorway of this running shoe model from Nike. Aside from the expensive price tag, I've heard some great things about this shoe, so I have really high expectations for this shoe review. Today, I have the Nike Zoom Vaporfly 4% Blue Fox here for a close-up review. Basically, Nike introduced a new project called Breaking 2 during December of 2016. Their goal was to have their athletes wear their newly designed shoe with updated technologies that not only help the fastest marathon runners to run their best, but also hopefully powerful enough to break the 2-hour marathon world record by running less than 2 hours. They have created a prototype called the Nike Zoom Vaporfly Elite featuring a noteworthy soft, ultra lightweight and highly responsive Zoom X foam sole with a unidirectional carbon fiber plate placed inside to maintain a stiff profile needed during long runs. Long story short, although the athletes did not finish the marathon under 2 hours, the fastest runner wearing that prototype still surpassed the world record by 2.32 seconds. This shoe was one of the 3 newly released sneakers for the public created in conjunction with the Breaking 2 project, and the only to feature the same Zoom X sole used on the record-breaking concept sneaker from that first marathon. And in case you were wondering, the 4% means the cushioning can deliver an average of 4% improvement in running economy than Nike's previous fastest racing flat on the market. Now you know why I'm so excited for this review, so let's take a closer look at these sneakers. This is one of the first colorways to drop for this model, the other being ice blue. Quite frankly, I don't even know how to describe the color on this upper. It's almost black with a mixture of dark bluish green tones. The upper is made out of mesh, or what Nike calls fly mesh. It's a layer of material that's seamless like a one-piece upper, while providing a dynamic lockdown capacity with maximum support that's breathable and lightweight. The upper also has a polished finish to it, so it does look glossy when light hits on the surface. On the lateral side, we will see multiple ventilated openings that stretches towards the front of the sneakers and eventually loops around to the medial side as well. The openings are pretty huge, big enough that you can see through inside clearly. People now can easily tell what color socks you're wearing or if you're wearing any at all. Jokes aside, breathability wouldn't be an issue here on this shoe for sure, which is what's important for marathon runners. On the lateral side, we have a large Nike swoosh swooping from the toe box to the side, while on the medial side, we have a smaller version of the Nike swoosh laying against the surface. Texture-wise, it's what you would expect from mesh. It's a relaxed fit that's flexible to a certain degree when you touch it by hand, but it's not stretchy at all. In fact, there's no need for the upper to be flexible really, but I'll get to that info in just a second. As for the lacing system, the upper actually bends inwards to the shoe, so you will see an extra fold of material or arch band leaning against the inner side walls. At the edge of this fold is where the flat laces are threaded through, and for this pair, it's the same color as the upper to match the colorway. Under the laces, we have a very thin piece of mesh constructed tongue. The tongue is also ventilated as well, seen near the lower portion, with a Nike ZM Vaporfly 4% logo branding printed right on top in this stylized and edgy cutaway design. At the side that's slightly hidden, we will also discover some additional text design and symbols to further establish an iconic branding to this model. Flipping over this tongue, you will see the edges are reinforced with a suede-like overlay. On the left pair, there is a small area that says location, while on the right pair, the word date is printed on it. It's what I presume Nike's way of allowing the consumer or runner to record down their achievements if they were to ever use this shoe to complete a marathon. Inside the shoe, we have a non-removable insole glued shut on the midsole of this sneaker. Texture-wise, it feels almost like felt, and for this specific pair, you will see the word racing and a Nike swoosh logo in orange on dark bluish green that seemingly fades into orange towards the forefront area. There's not much cushioning here at the inner heel region, but there is some minimal ankle and Achilles padding under the suede-like overlay. And it's also very ventilated here as well, as you can see through the mesh material pretty easily. At the back of the shoe, we will actually see a pinch of the same suede overlay spilling outwards from the fly mesh upper. On the left pair, we have the text racing and the Nike swoosh branding on this orange cover, while on the right pair, a timer. If I were to guess, I think it's for the consumers to write down their record or finishing time for the marathon they were running in while using this shoe. Now comes the most important part of the sneaker, the sole portion. It is Nike's newest technology that features what they call a Zoom X foam midsole and outsole. This whole layer of foam is said to offer superior responsiveness that delivers the greatest energy return. It's hard to describe the feeling, but by touch, it honestly doesn't feel out of the ordinary or extra squishy or anything, but holding it in hand, the shoe is really lightweight. The shoe comes creased out of the box immediately though, with this orange highlight at the forefoot area divided by a black streak of outline on top of another piece of all white foam. On the medial side, you have an extra stamping or iconic logo branding with the shoe's mantra printed on the foam. However, what's interesting that you don't see here is that inside this foam lies a lightweight, full-length carbon fiber plate that increases stiffness to provide a sensation of propulsion. Because of this, you can't flex this shoe at all. This is why I was saying that this upper doesn't need to be flexible, because this plate prevents us from doing so. You can see a specific wrinkle here that when I press on it, it feels tough, so that's where I assume the plate is located. Under the shoe, the white part with pentagonal shapes is the same soft foam as the midsole, while the black areas we see are the durable and harder rubber to prevent scuffing against the floor. Anyways, here are some Nike Zoom Vaporfly 4% Blue Fox fit footage. Fit-wise, I have no problem fitting this at my true to size even with wide feet. I would advise you to go true to size even with narrow feet because the upper is not knit but mesh, so it won't expand as much with your feet. Comfort-wise, the upper is pretty standard in my opinion. It does its job quite well considering the material it's using. The ventilated ports are huge and abundant, so people with sweaty feet are pretty safe by wearing this shoe. I mean, this shoe is created for marathon runners that run more than 2 hours straight, so you bet it should be breathable. Now my opinion on the cushioning, and for this review, I will be doing it based on a casual shoe than a running performance analysis. I must say, wow, this Zoom X foam is definitely something I've not felt ever on a shoe from Nike. To cut it simply, the cushioning is very comfortable. Simply squishing the sole by hand doesn't activate the shoe's potential. You have to put your body weight in order to feel the comfort of this cushioning. This Zoom X sole definitely took me by surprise. It's squishy enough, but at the same time springy. I do have to mention because of this, it does feel a tiny bit unstable like rocking on a boat. But because this was built for marathon runners that doesn't have tight corners to run into, this shoe is built perfectly for those straight long distance running. The strangest feeling is that I can't actually feel the plate on feet, but I do sense what it's doing, and it's the sensation of pushing me forward. For regular shoes, we will have to push our feet off the ground, but wearing this shoe feels like I didn't have to do anything, use much less energy, and I'll still get propelled forward. If you ask me, I have to say this cushioning might be Nike's answer to Adidas's Boost cushioning. Both shoes are squishy, but if I have to describe it in words, Boost is bouncy whereas this Zoom X is springy. It's almost as if you step on Boost and it bounces you up once, then you sink inside the Boost material. But for Zoom X, you step on it, but it's like a spring and your feet kind of bobbles up and down, and a few more all throughout the sole. It could be because of this carbon fiber plate helping out as well, but it certainly feels refreshing that Nike has finally created something as an answer to Boost after that upgrade from the VaporMax Airsole unit, where it felt springy at the heel region only and nothing much up at the forefront and the midfoot area. As a walking shoe, this shoe will be fantastic, aside from the fact that I do notice a weird popping sound whenever I step on the sole on even surfaces, so using this shoe to walk on even pavements might get awkward as a sound will keep following your footsteps. Keep in mind, this is built for outdoor marathon runners, so if you're using it to run in tight city corners or locations with narrow twists and turns, use with caution. It's still not as safe or reassuring as something like the Adidas Ultra Boost in my opinion. That aside, I really like this shoe. Maybe even placing it right next to my all-time favorite Ultra Boost in terms of comfort, but I cannot keep this shoe unfortunately, because price-wise, these were $330 Canadian before tax, basically $100 more than the Adidas Ultra Boost. As a general consumer, I couldn't justify paying this high amount for a shoe like this yet. With this money, I can purchase 2 different shoes already, and honestly, the upper material is nothing that overly luxurious for this pricing. Yes, the cushioning is spectacular, but the price is just too high. This shoe is definitely aimed for a specific group of people, most definitely active athletes with marathon running in their mind. If Nike can somehow create a version with this same sole but made for casual runners or consumers, Adidas Boost will most definitely and finally have a tough competitor in the market for the most comfortable cushioning. As always, throw me some likes if you like this video, and let me know in the comments what you think about these Zoom Vaporfly 4%. Hopefully, Nike can create another shoe with this springy Zoom X sole soon, as I will definitely be excited for them. That's it for today. S2W signing off.